Welcome to the second tutorial of Backend.AI. Last time we learned what Backend.AI is and how to get an access to Backend.AI. In this tutorial, we will look through menu for features that Backend.AI provides. Let's start from Summary Page, which is the first page you meet right after login. Summary Page is one of the most frequently visited page in Backend.AI. In Summary Page, there are 5 panels. Start Panel, Resource Statistics Panel, System Panel, Announcement Panel and Invitation Panel. Let's look through Start Panel first. Session in Backend.AI provides workspace for development and execution of deep learning jobs. A session is created from pre-baked environments such as container images, with computation resources and storage folders attached. Within a session, you can do most of the tasks that can be done on a real computer, such as importing data or writing codes, or saving files. In Start Panel, there are 2 buttons to start a session and to upload files, respectively. Let's click one by one. If you click Start button, you'll see the dialog like this. You can customize those settings to configure the session. This dialog is called as Session Launcher. If you scroll down to the bottom of the Session Launcher and click Launch button, then session with applied settings will be created soon. Let's just leave the settings as it is and click the Launch button. If you click Launch button, then one more dialog will pop up with a message. No storage folder is mounted. Do you want to proceed? This will be explained in the next tutorial, so just ignore it and click Launch button. A snack bar message appears at the right bottom of the screen, saying, Preparing Session. And then a dialog called App Launcher will show up. In this App Launcher dialog, you can choose to run the softwares which are provided by default in the execution environment, in the form of a web application. Let's run Jupyter Notebook, the most familiar application, by clicking Jupyter Notebook icon. And then, you will see Prepared message at the right bottom of the screen with a new page. You can use Jupyter Notebook anytime until the session terminates. You don't have to worry about closing the window by accident. Every application including Jupyter Notebook can be run again. The detail will be explained in other menus. Let's go on to next button, Upload Files. If you click Upload Files button, it will direct you from Summary Page to Data and Storage page. In this page, you can create a new folder, or upload files in existing folders. Creating a folder and uploading files will be explained in Data and Storage menu. Let's go back to Summary Page and look through Resource Statistics panel. In Resource Statistics panel, you can check 3 things. First, the resource groups that you can choose, the amount of resource that is allocated in selected resource group, and the amount of resource that you are using right now. The current resource status would be summarized in one sentence like this. In the resource group called Default, you are using one session with 4 CPU cores, 8 GB of memory, and no GPUs. This account is attached to only one resource group, Default. Please note that it may differ depending on the installation environment, and that the resources you can use vary depending on the resource group you select. In System Resources panel, you can check the number of sessions in running status. We have created one session in Start panel and the session is running without any problems. In Announcement panel, you can see announcement from Backend.AI. In Backend.AI, users can invite other users to share folders. If you get invited to a shared folder, Invitation panel shows 3 things: who is inviting you, to which folders, under what type of permissions. This will be explained in Data and Storage menu in detail. Let's move on to next page, Session. Session page is also one of the most frequently visited pages in Backend.AI. Session page contains Resource Statistics panel and Session List panel. Let's focus on Session List panel. Could you see the Start button at the top right of the Session List panel? This button is the same button as the Start button in Summary Page. Please note this when creating a session. Backend.AI shows 3 tabs in Session List panel, in order to provide better information about the session to users. Each session is listed in one of these tabs. Sessions can be in various status. When starting a session, the session could be either created immediately or not for some reasons. If the session is to be created right away, the session will be in preparing status, which means that the session creation process is ongoing. If the session cannot be created shortly, then it goes to pending status until it becomes possible to create it. When the session creation is successfully done, status changes into running, which means you can do various tasks in the session. After session is terminated by user request or any system failure, the status will be updated to terminating, and if the session is shut down normally, status turns to be terminated. In the Running tab, you can see one session in running status, which we have just created in summary page. In the session that is in running status, you can use the softwares which are provided by default in the execution environment, in the form of a web application. Let's use App Launcher dialog to run Jupyter Notebook application again. To see App Launcher dialog, just click the 3x3 green squares assembled in an icon at the leftmost side of control column. Click Jupyter Notebook icon in App Launcher dialog, then Jupyter Notebook will appear in a new window. You can run Web Terminal that is provided in every execution environment too. Click the terminal icon right to the App Launcher icon, then Web Terminal will appear in a new window. Now let's terminate the session. Click the red power icon in control column. After that, a confirmation dialog pops up. When terminating a session, all the running web applications is terminated, and data such as files saved in the session's default directory would be also gone if they were not saved in the mounted folders. Click OK button and kill the session. Then, session terminated message will appear in the bottom right of the screen. A few seconds later, the session disappears from Running tab. If you click Finish tab, then the session just terminated is moved here with terminated status. The tag user requested attached below the status means that this session was terminated by user's request. Let's check the usage and reservation columns too. In usage column, we can see the actual use time and how much data I/O was done throughout the session. As you can see, the amount of usage is small since we terminated the session right after executing web application. In reservation column, you can see the creation time and how long session lasted. There's one last thing you need to notice. If the session ends, the web applications that were previously open are no longer available. Therefore, you have to close those web application windows after session ends. We've been looking through two menus in Backend.AI, Summary and Session. In the next tutorial, we will take a look at Import and Run, Data and Storage, and Statistics menus. In LabLab channel, we provide tech videos about machine learning and deep learning, and bleeding edge technology about cloud computing as well as Backend.AI tutorials. If you enjoyed our tutorials and want to learn more about AI and cloud computing, please subscribe and give us thumbs up. See you again in the next tutorial.